All right, high rollers, we've had this guy on before, but you know what they say about speech play? Half an hour is never enough. Call the clock on this guy. Definitely one of our favorites. He was the talk of the 2016 World Series of Poker main event. Even saw a few t-shirts around the Rio this year that read, 9 high like a boss. 17th in 2016. He is the EPT 13 Prague High Roller Champion, where he was in for the min and got the max. Yes, William Kassouf joins us. William, welcome back, man. Thanks for being our high roller today.
Thank you, Derek. Thanks for inviting me, and Christopher too.
Yes, also in the house,
What's
my
up,
good buddy, Christopher Womack. Definitely one of the key contributors here to High Roller Radio. Poker player, Colorado cannabis wholesaler, all around good guy. Chris, how are you, my man?
Doing good, brother. Out here in Colorado, it seems like we're all in different places around the world. That's good things. We're all busy in the poker world, and it's great to be back on High Roller Radio with William. And yeah, loving poker, even though the World Series is over.
Yeah, the World Series is definitely over. And how about that final table, William? What do you think about the main event? And what about this guy, this fellow Brit, this fellow table talker, John Hesp? I mean, what a performance that was.
It was. What a performance indeed. I think the whole nation's jumping up and down for him, rooting for him the whole way to have got to the final table, considering, his background and the type of tournaments he plays. I think if you look on his Hendon mob, you'll see the type of tournaments he played, literally just £10 tournaments in his local casino up in Hull in the north of England. He just went to Vegas to play this tournament, just to tick it off his bucket list, so to speak, just to say he played the event. No way did he think he'd get in the top 100. He wanted to get in the top 1,000 to get paid the $15,000 and then just go from there. Would have been a bonus. As we know, he went to the top 100, top 50, top 30, as he said in the interview, and then lo and behold, he was suddenly is on the final table in the final 9. So phenomenal result for him. Played well, ran good, and just unfortunately he lost a bit of a cooler with the ace-10 against the aces on the ace-10 board when he had turn 2 pair. But yeah, phenomenal result for him. Fantastic run, and everyone's delighted for him. It's great for UK poker, great for poker overall. Someone from his background, a recreational player, playing in the biggest tournament in the world, competing against over 7,000 players this year, which was a fantastic turnout this year overall for him. For a personal achievement, it's fantastic. Great for British poker and great for poker overall, like I said,
I'm wondering your thoughts, William, from your perspective, because last year you were the table talker. I know you're a good guy, but there seemed to be a mob mentality against you. This year, John Hesp is a table talker, bit older, but everyone seems to love him. Did you feel like you were slighted last year compared to how the reaction went this year for John Hesp?
Quite possibly. I think we're similar and we're different in terms of our speech play and our presence and personality on the tables. I think we both have great personalities that shine on the poker tables and how we come across on the poker tables and bringing the fun factor to the game. I think that's where we're similar in terms of being extroverts rather than introverts, and just there to enjoy yourself on the table, have fun, and enjoy the game for what it is, regardless of the level, whether it's a $100 or $10K main event. So that's what I aimed to do last year. That's what John Hesp did this year. He just went there, he just went out there, played his A game, and just enjoyed himself. Just enjoyed the occasion for what it was, and that was what was great to see about him. Contrast in terms of the different age categories, probably more on the older generation. You can clearly tell compared to myself. So it's great to see someone of his age and with his personality come and shine through on the world's biggest stage and not be afraid to mix it up with all the pros and everyone else in the 7,000 player field. So we're similar in that regard. I think it was different in terms of my strategy going into it. I mean, no disrespect to John, but he's an amateur poker player, plays fairly recreationally and small buy-in events. And I didn't think he used any kind of like speech play or that kind of like on the tactical side of things to get under his opponent's skin or trying to confuse them or speech them into calling or folding, and use the psychological aspect as much as I did. Not to take any credit away from him, of course, because he played a fantastic game and he thoroughly enjoyed himself. I think how he came across was this kind of older guy who was there just for the occasion. He was there just to enjoy himself. And I think everyone took that on board, considering his age and that he's really a recreational player rather than playing at the professional level and using speech play as an edge, if you like, to get under his opponent's skin and get into their mind and confuse them and tilt them, if you like. So that was the difference between him and I think, in terms of the strategy employed, in terms of the speech play going forward. But bottom line is we both employed speech play just to enjoy ourselves on the table, just to have fun. I think I used it more as a tactical weapon, if you like, and he used it more just so that he can enjoy himself more at the table rather than sitting there in silence. So it's great to see. It's refreshing overall, and fantastic to see for poker in general.
With speech play, I got to come at you, William. I mean, you're the coconut. You're the master of speech play. You're across the pond. You keep speaking Brits, fellow countrymen. Is there going to be a UK speech theory boom? What's going on currently right now? What kind of went on with Moneymaker? I mean, we got personalities coming out of UK that are just talking it up, chatting it up, and being what I think great personalities of the game.
This is it, yeah. I think it's more maybe the British sense of humour, and I think the Brits are more used to it than more of the North Americans, especially like playing in the World Series and other events in the US. A lot of them seem to be really thin-skinned. A lot of if I can say so, a bunch of crybabies moaning and whining about little petty things. And I'm not breaking any of the rules. I'm not hating. I'm not berating anyone. I'm not doing a Phil Hellmuth kind of like poker brat moment or a Tony G insulting or berating anyone on the table. It's nothing like that at all. I'm not that kind of guy to lower the tone or go below the belt and start insulting players across the table. It's not my style.
I've traveled a lot, and there's no one I love chatting it up more beyond the poker table and drinking more is with Brits, because you're like, damn, when is actually talking shit gone too far? And then it peels over to the poker table, and some people can't handle that. And I love the speech theory, buddy. Like I'm all about it. Like people have been saying, when's this guy gonna go away after a year? And I'm like, you've been around since 2009 making passes. It's kind of ignorant when people say, when's this gonna end? Oh, this is the beginning of it. I mean, Negreanu's been doing it for years, but the speech theory, as far as I'm concerned, I love it. With speech theory, you kind of settled your Stacy Matuson beef this year. Friend or foe right now? How do you feel about Stacy?
I don't have any sour grapes or any grudges against anyone. I don't hold any grudges. There's no bad feeling between myself and Stacy, not from my part anyway. During the World Series, following the World Series, up until today. I mean, I've played with Stacy a few times now since the WSOP. We've met up in a number of 8-8 events, playing in Rosvadov, in Barcelona. We met up, we had a chat, we talked about the hand at length and everything, and we get on fine. We even played a heads-up match, which was done in good spirit. I took it with a pinch of salt. She happened to beat me there on that occasion. It was definitely her day when she had the run of the cards heads up, and I was fairly card dead. But not to take any credit away from her, she beat me heads up, so she got her kind of like revenge, if you like, from me bluffing her with 9 high like a boss. So yeah, it's all good fun. I didn't mind it, and there's no ill feeling. I think I get on with her fine, she gets on with me fine, so there's no ill feeling there at all. So yeah,
a game's a game. Like, you're supposed to have fun, you're supposed to talk smack, you're supposed to be enemies at the table, and then you can be still smack talking friends away from the table. Going back to the UK, my very first tournament, I bought it in behind Devilfish. What were your kind of influences that brought you into poker, or idols, or people that you might have looked up to within poker?
Well, Devilfish was definitely one in terms of like from the UK poker scene, old school, talking a lot on the table, doing the banter and the speech play. I love that kind of thing.
It's great. He made it into the Hall of Fame. It's great.
He did. It's fantastic. I'm happy for him. Buzzing. It's sad that he's not with us today, but fantastic. He made it into the Hall of Fame, and yeah, I'm definitely rooting for him in that regard. But one who's been the biggest proponent of speech play and table talk and bringing the fun factor and banter to the table is obviously Daniel Negreanu. So I looked up to him a lot, and I'm grateful for him for backing me up after the World Series last year, when there's all this controversy about the rules and how the floor staff got it wrong. They're trying to pin me down left, right, and centre for all different kind of reasons, when I clearly wasn't breaking any of the rules. I think they struggled to find a rule that I was actually breaking. I think I was bending the rules more to the max and pushing the button, pushing the boundaries to the limits, and I think they were just making up rules on the fly, like saying, oh, once you made a bet, you can't talk to your opponent, and one more word out of you, then you're going to get a 1-all-bit penalty. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's not in the rules to say you're not allowed to talk, or you can't talk once you've made a bet and your opponent's thinking. It was just made up on the fly. So I had to defend myself, and I think then Daniel Negreanu came to fought my corner and effectively agreed with everything I was saying, and said that every time there was an altercation between Jack F and Will Kassouf, Will was right and Jack was wrong. So that's how it came about. But I was all for Daniel Negreanu in terms of what he brings to the table, what he brings to the game, bringing in the recreational players into the game, bringing the fun factor back to poker, which is essentially what I like to do and what I'm a big proponent of, as well as the speech play, just keeping poker fun, basically, getting the recreationals in and just enjoying the game for what it is, regardless of what level you're playing at, whether it's a $100 tournament or a 10K main event, and whether you play it recreationally or professionally. So I just enjoy the game for what it is.
Hey, William, speaking of Daniel Negreanu, I was watching all of his vlogs from the World Series of Poker. I found it very interesting to see what a high-stakes player does behind the scenes, how they gear up for these events. And in the hallways at the Rio, I spotted during one of those vlogs a jersey with 9 high like a boss on the back of it. Yeah, mixed support over that final table last year, but definitely in the poker world, you got a lot of support. A lot of people felt you were wronged. What's it like going back to the Rio? What reception did you have from the players? Was it a mixed bag or was it mostly favorable?
No, I don't think I got even one person who had a negative feeling or had a negative thought or comment. Well, they definitely didn't express it if they did to my face. They might have wanted to behind my back if they did. But I think 99% of the people, I couldn't walk more than 2 meters in the Rio without someone shouting, "Nine high like a boss. Hey, the coconuts, man. Hey, my wife loved you, man. Hey, you were awesome, man. Don't change a thing. You did nothing wrong. A bunch of crybabies there, man. Hey, you were awesome. Keep doing what you're doing."
That's your American accent.
And I'm trying. I'm trying, Chris. I'd love to hear you do a London accent. Go on, bring it.
I get like Surrey. My good friends are from Surrey. They do a lot of fishing over in Surrey, England. You know, they run the nets and everything. You know, how's that?
Marvelous. A for effort.
So what was your best moment of this World Series that you're not supposed to be at, man? You weren't supposed to be back. You were just going to be a blip on the screen, but you go wreck at EPT. I mean, I got called William Kassouf this year. You were supposed to be gone. Where's William Kassouf? But you were here. What was your best moment, bro?
Best moment on the World Series?
Yep.
Just going back, just being there physically in the Rio, just being there and feeling all the positive vibes, the energy, the support. And all these random people that I've never met before wanting to come up to me, shake my hand, congratulate me, showing their support, offering their support, wanting to have selfies and said, "Oh, their kids would love this, their parents would love this," that they had a photo. It was like touching to get that from so many random people, and majority of them being North Americans as well. I was thinking, a bit concerned when I got in there. I was no fear for my safety or anything like that with security and cameras there, what have you. But I was fearing for I might get a lot of boos and people giving me evil looks when I walk in there. "Oh, not this guy again," and we had enough of him last year. But it wasn't like that at all, and I was getting so much support.
No, you're a celebrity. You're a celebrity now. America loves you, man. ESPN loves you. So what you're saying is you're here to stay.
That's it. Well, I hope so. Well, I'm still here, still talking to you more than 12 months later after the following World Series in 2017. So yeah, a lot of coverage, a lot of publicity I got this year. Even I made it. Unfortunately, only made it to day 2. When I got unlucky in a big pot and then busted on day 2 when I got rivered. But still had a lot of coverage there. The cameras were on my table throughout day 1, throughout day 2, and even after I busted, they had my name under the most notables, and then eliminations, and it had Will Kassouf eliminated at the bottom of the screen, just on my own. There was my name, even though I'd already busted out the tournament.
You're like, yay, thank you, great headline.
It's like, well, what more can I ask for? I'm out of the tournament, but they're still putting my name on the leaderboard and the scoreboards and the chip counts at the bottom of the screen that I've been eliminated. This is a day or 2 after I've been eliminated, so it's hilarious. And even in the commercial breaks, they were showing clips of me from day 1 and 2. And even when they finished showing clips of me from day 1 and 2, they showed clips of me from last year with the 9 high like a boss hand and other hands of me. So yeah, it's phenomenal. Great to get that coverage. I was even on the actual podium with Cara Scott, David Williams, and Doug Polk to do a brief stint there. I was interviewed by them. I did a 5-10 minute stint there, which was live on ESPN and BT Sport back in the UK. So lots of people back in the UK watched that as well. So yeah, it's great to get that kind of publicity and coverage. I think I expected it anyway. Not that I'm camera shy, but I expected it to get that from having had so much publicity and coverage the previous year, to be on every single episode on the ESPN from 2016. I expected it this year. So it's great to go back, almost like a poker celebrity, like you say, and literally to talk about my experience or how it was last year and the reception I received this year. It's been all positive. I haven't heard one negative feedback from anyone I met in the Rio or anywhere else in Vegas. So yeah, it's been great. With every cash game I went into, someone got up from their seat before I even sat down the cash game, asking if they could have a selfie before I sat down to play. Yeah, it's great to get that kind of reception and doing shout-outs, doing a quick video Snapchat and all that. I'm not even on Snapchat, but lots of people wanted me to do a 10-second Snapchat thing for their friends and someone's birthday, etc. So yeah, it's great to have that. I was thinking to myself, if I set up a booth in the Rio hallway and charged $5 or $10 for every time someone asked me for a selfie, just have a selfie, I would have made that $10,000 in 2 days. I'm not even joking. I would have had my main event by, and in 2 days, bang, that would have been sorted. So, but fortunately, I was sponsored this year by 8-8 Poker, #SickBrag, for the main event, so I didn't have to fork out the 10K myself.
Well, you talk about social media, William. I know you're prolific on both Facebook and Twitter and the other platforms. I'm wondering about your philosophy that you tweet out quite a bit, that you're in for the min to get the max. Can you talk about your philosophy on satellites? I mean, when I think of a satellite, I think, man, why am I risking this extra money when I might lose it? But I guess if you're above the field, if you've got the elite level advantage over other players, it's worth it, right? Is that your strategy?
Definitely, definitely. I mean, bankroll management is key. You hear it all the time. Oh, bankroll management, this and that. But it's so underrated, so underestimated, and a lot of poker players don't put it into practice. They talk about it all the time, but they never actually put it into practice. And one key example is satellites, like satelliting into a big target events, into major tournaments. People seem to have the bankroll, like the bigger name players and deep pockets. They've got the bankroll to buy in for 10k. Why should I play a 1k satellite? I'm going to play the 10k anyway. They shouldn't have that mindset. Even if they are going to buy in for the 10k, why would you effectively invest 10k into a tournament, even though you can afford it, if you know you're good enough and you're disciplined enough to win a seat for 1k and you save yourself $9,000 on the buy-in, for example? So that's why I always say, like, in for the min to get the max, because I would like to satellite in. So if I did play, if I give the example of the 10k main event, say I want a seat in the 1k satellite into the 10k main, I'll save myself £9,000 from the outset. I'm in for 1k. If I then just min cash, even though I'm not playing to min cash, but just an example, if I min cash 15k, it's a 14k payday for me, as opposed to buying in for 10k and I'm only up 5k profit having bought in for 10k. And obviously the pay jumps and money jumps get bigger the deeper you go into the tournament. So if you're in for 1k and you end up cashing $1 million, you're pretty much free rolling the whole tournament and you're $1 million richer. Not that it mattered that great if you got that far and you bought in for 10k or something like that in. But just to give the example, you could be in for 10% of the buy-in, and then any cash you make in the tournament would be literally 10 times sweeter than if you bought in, because you're in for a fraction of the buy-in. And it's not just one tournament. You've got to think of playing poker as a long game. If you think of just doing a hit and run and playing one big tournament and playing the 10k main event and never playing poker again, then fair enough. Then I can understand why you'd want to buy in for the 10k, win or lose, you don't care. You're a Hollywood actor, or you just do this. You have a job for the rest of the year. You're only going to play once a year, one tournament in the whole year. Then I'd understand buying it for the 10k straight up. But if you're going to play this, whether it's recreational or professionally, and you're playing it for the long game, and you're playing a number of tournaments year in, year out, you've got to have great bankroll management, and it's crucial to play these satellites, to be in for the min to get a max, as I like to say, to save yourself a chunk of money. If you've got the right strategy and the right mentality and have the discipline to do it, then why not? You're saving money at the end of the day, so money saved is money won.
Totally believe in that whole philosophy. I'm always in for the min to get the max. Satellites is the only way to go. I mean, whether you're playing online, whether you're playing live. With that being said, bankroll management, I think it's the biggest flaw in our game these days. I see money thrown around, and it's like it wasn't there, and that's the perception you have to have in poker. But bankroll management is very lacking. What can you say to professional players and amateur players? Are you diversifying? Are you just managing your bankroll very well? Are you falling back on schooling? What is the best advice altogether you can give about bankroll management?
Yeah, I've almost covered that in my previous response. I'd say always play within your means. Always try to satellite into big target events, even if you can afford to buy in, because like I said, you're playing the long game. So you're not just there to just hit and run in one tournament and just buy in for 10k. And if you lose, then you're not going to play another tournament until next July for the next main event. If that's the case, fair enough. But most poker players, whether recreational or professionally, they're going to play a number of tournaments, every month or every other month throughout the whole of the year. So you think of 12 months worth of poker tournaments that you're going to buy in, not even mentioning the expenses like the flights, hotels, and expenses that food, drink, whatever that you have to spend, and traveling, taxi fares, whilst you're at that venue, whilst you're at that festival that you're traveling to play poker. So it's crucial, it's fundamentally important to satellite into these kind of events, just to save a chunk of money before you even got there, or having got there to satellite in before you play the target event.
Table talk aside, you've probably had some fun over the past year with this 9 high hand. Anybody at the main event or in previous tournaments try to bluff you with a 9 high and shove it in your face?
Yeah, there have been a couple in my local casino in London. Not any major tournaments. No one's ever tried it in like the WSB main event or anything like that. I think there's too much at stake to try and risk just for show or whatever, just because it's against me, 9 high like a boss. But they have done it in London. We bluffed, I think, twice now over the last 12 months. So it's not been too bad a record. I've only been bluffed twice with 9 high like a boss. I had no hand. I think one of them I had middle pair. The other one I was on a gut shot straight draw myself, so I didn't really have a hand myself. But needless to say, they still pulled it off. They still bluffed me with 9 high, which I was still beating at the time, and they proudly showed it 9 high like a boss. I laughed it off. I thought, fair play, fantastic. I love it. To see that, I'm an inspiration. I'm not going to get in the hump at all, or get annoyed, or pissed off with them and think, oh, this idiot, he bluffed with 9 high. What's he think he's playing at? Does he know who I am? So no, I'll take a pinch of salt. I love it. It's great for the game. Great to see I'm an inspiration. Every other poker player up and down the country has been saying it in almost every card room up and down the UK. So it's great to have that line. Great for the recreational players to come in the game. Great to see the kids looking up to me and thinking, wow, this guy could do it. He plays 1-2, 1-3, no limit hold'em. He's not like a high roller, 10k, 25k, 50k high roller buy-in player. He plays fairly like modest stakes and always satellites in, and love his strategy, his philosophy, and in for them in to get the max. And if he can do it, it gives us hope and belief that the poker dream is still alive. That we can do it as amateur and recreational poker players. So yes, it's great to see, great to hear that I'm an inspiration for a lot of poker players up and down the country, and a lot of fans worldwide. It seems to be now. Seems to be expanding more and more as each day goes by. So yeah, it's great to see it. Been bluffed twice with it. It plays into my hands. I think it works both ways with my image and the whole 9 high like a boss thing. I think a lot of people want to bluff me. So when I do have a big hand, it's an easy call. Like I pick them off easily, and then I'm just going to get easy chips because I know they're just going to try and bluff me in those kind of situations with that kind of hand. But on the flip side, yeah, it can go against me because I've got a big target on my back, and people want to try and bluff with 9 high like a boss. It puts me and more on the spot and under pressure, if you like, to try and figure them out. Have they really got 9 high here when there's no 9 on the board? I'm dreading each time I fold that they're going to show 9 high like a boss. That's going to go through my mind each time. But no, it brings more the fun facts to the game. I'm all for it. It's fantastic. So yeah, it's great to see it, and great to see people more into the game and loving the game and bringing the fun factor back to the game. And that's the most important.
I think it's great. I think it brings action. That's what poker players want action. Yeah. Bringing the 7 Dewey Louie to the table, bringing Doyle Brunson to the table, bringing Dolly Parton, these named hands. Not actually the man, Doyle Brunson, but the 10 deuce. I'd rather have the 10 deuce table than Doyle. But bringing these personalities and these personality hands to poker is what it's about. I mean, we saw a poker boom, and now we're seeing another one through personality and through great play. And William, I think you're a big part of that. I am really excited to see the next few years within poker itself. Speaking of changes in poker and just poker itself, are you playing online these days? Are you behind any company? What's the deal with online these days?
Yes, I've recently signed up with Grosvenor Poker in the UK. It's actually spelled Grosvenor, but pronounced Grosvenor. I think a lot of Americans make that mistake. Yeah, it's Grosvenor Poker in the UK. They're one of the biggest companies in the UK, the biggest chain of casinos that they have up and down the country, the Grosvenor Casino and the G Casino. Together, they run the biggest well-known poker tour in the country, which is the GUKPT, the Grosvenor UK Poker Tour. Their main legs are £1,000 buy-ins. They have some £500 buy-ins, and the grand final is a £2,000 buy-in event, all with great guarantees, which always get smashed year in, year out. The numbers increase each and every year. It's phenomenal. It's been going for over 10 years now. And it's the best run tournament in the country, in my opinion. Glad to be on board with Grosvenor Poker in that regard. So I'll be representing them in every tournament I play in the UK from now on. We
had Neil Channing on the show, and he called Grosvenor Victoria the headquarters of poker back in the day. That's where it all started. Pretty big place there.
Indeed, and that has been my home for the last, I'd say, 13, 14 years now. I've always played there, the Grosvenor Victoria Casino in London, on Edgware Road, Marble Arch. Fantastic venue. They've renovated it in the last few years. They've got the whole of the second floor is a massive dedicated poker room now. Half tournaments, half cash games. Obviously, when they have big festivals on, then more of the tables are dedicated towards tournaments. But the whole of the second floor is just poker now, next to the restaurant that's up there as well. So, yes, fantastic venue. It's been the home for me for well over a decade. So I'd recommend it to anyone who comes to London to visit the poker room. They've got every level going from 1-1 Hold'em up to 25-50 like PLO. So they've got every game for every level of poker player. Fantastic venue as well, and great service, great food as well. So definitely recommend it to everyone who comes to London.
Well, listen, guys, I really appreciate your time. Christopher Womack at Womack303 on Twitter. William Kassouf at William Kassouf on Twitter. In for the men to get the max. He's always playing 9 high like a boss. He won EPT 13 high roller in Prague, and he was 17th, of course, last year in the main event. William, Chris, thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you, Derek. It's been a pleasure.
High Roller Nation, I love you. See you soon.